Do it, Broly.
I am Beals, your trusted whistle inspector and goblin slayer. I know it's been ages since the Broly movie was released, Majestic Buttocks, but you know, I'm not usually very quick to talk about any topic. I'm usually busy inspecting whistles and chasing goblins at night while I drink pineapple coke.
Pineapple Coke.
Oh my god!
The thing is, even though I'm late to the party, the truth is, I've been wanting to talk about something for a few days now that will probably end up being very controversial. About the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. When the movie premiered, the usual happened with reboots or remakes. The fandom was completely divided between those who worship the new version as the second coming of Jesus Christ to Earth, and those who cling to the old product tooth and nail, as if the new version were the worst thing ever made. Some people also believe both versions can coexist and respect others' opinions and tastes. But let's be real. On the internet, this kind of person is rarer than yo-yo fan who don't suck dicks. Personally, I like both versions of Broly. And that's because each one gives me a completely different feeling. Because while the classic Broly seems more fitting as the image of the legendary Super Saiyan, the modern one is clearly a character with better lore, background, and narrative weight. So in this video, I'm going to give my reasons why I personally and subjectively think this way, since you should remember that every opinion, no matter who gives it, is subjective. So without further explanation, let's get on with the video. Maybe some of you think I'm completely crazy for saying that psychopathic Broly was better as the legendary Super Saiyan than the current one, but allow me to give my point of view. First, we need to take a look at the Saiyans themselves. According to the descriptions we have both in the manga and in various official sources like guides and magazines, we can conclude that the Saiyans are a warrior race, aggressive by nature, and with conquering tendencies during their prime. They stood out for the aggressiveness and cruelty of their actions, and for their obsession with fighting and becoming stronger than the other races, and even competing among themselves. Keeping this in mind, we can make several things clear. The first is that even though the protagonists of the anime are actually Saiyans, that doesn't change the fact that their ancestors were greater beings, evil by nature, and extremely terrifying and aggressive. This already tells us that, in fact, classic Broly is like taking everything the Saiyans once represented and raising it to the 20th power. Because Broly was just that. A cruel being, evil by nature, who only sought to crush his enemies. Even for something as trivial as a small childhood trauma, just this alone seemed like a reasonable excuse to Broly to want to erase Kakarot and everyone he knew from existence. Basically, Broly was chosen by destiny to be a machine of mass destruction, a being created by nature as an uncontrollable force. In the purest style of Majin Buu, legendary Super Saiyan descriptions consistently portray a Saiyan with immense power and a warrior nature, above normal even if we compare him to the Saiyans themselves. A being who would rise above all of them as the most powerful Saiyan, never before seen. Someone who was chosen by destiny to lead the Saiyans to conquer the universe. Although no one would expect Broly to lead anything, since he wasn't known for intelligence, the movie suggests his lack of understanding came from having uncontrollable power since childhood, making him unable to grasp his nature or the destiny the universe gave him. Therefore, all that infinite power trapped in a weak, undeveloped mind broke. A warrior who strengthens both spirit and body is always superior to someone with only raw, uncontrolled power, even if the other is more powerful in terms of numbers. The experienced warrior with a strong will always comes out victorious. Because what's important isn't the size of your dick, but how you use it.
Oh, wow, that was funny. If you don't mind, I'm going to say XD.
In short, I believe classic Broly is a better legendary Super Saiyan, as he truly embodies the most primal Saiyan. But with the added detail that he was never able to have the mindset of a legendary Super Saiyan, even though his body was. Therefore, looking back, after all, he wasn't such an extremely flat and senseless character who just kept screaming like a madman, but rather, he was nothing more than a victim of his own nature, who never had a guide to lead him to fulfill his destiny, that is, the destiny of leading his race, because his only emotional support was a guy who, frankly, wasn't suitable for this job or any job. In my opinion, classic Broly perfectly represents a Saiyan out of control, with limitless power. For all the reasons I've mentioned, the true legendary Saiyan to me will always be the 90s Broly. Now then, what about the contemporary Broly? Well, I really don't have anything particularly interesting to say about the quote-unquote new Broly, since I think everything that could be said about him has already been said. I must congratulate Toriyama and his team for evolving alongside the fans and not get stuck in the past. Because instead of just making the same Broly from the 90s, only with a new hat, which surely would have given them the same sales without having to use their brains. Just like they partially did with Super, this time, they set out to give Broly a backstory and an identity to adapt him to these new times, where consumers are more discerning and don't accept generic nonsense. This movie is easily one of the franchise's best on many levels. Since the classic Broly was never going to appear again in the current canon, it's good the character returned this way after so many years. And Broly's concept wasn't just a cheap, lame reference in Super. I don't want to be redundant, but as I said a few seconds ago, there's nothing I can say about Broly that hasn't already been said. Maybe I'll review this movie someday. It has many positives, but also several flaws, like the forced cringe ship between the Green Girl and Broly, and well, making Freezer just a simple comic relief. I never imagined that an iconic and legendary villain in this medium, like Freezer, would be turned into a simple clown, who only exists for us to laugh at or facepalm over how unbelievably dumb he is. But, as I always say, that's a topic for another day. I believe Broly has far more potential than just this movie. Unlike the classic, attempts to capitalize on its success led to 2 movies. One was tolerable, but the third, good lord, who came up with this thing? For now, we can only wait and see if the creators expand the character's lore a bit. And in this way, we can now fully confirm that he's a much more complex character than the previous one, and not blindly like today. Since I know some will claim I'm a fraud and haven't explained why the new Burori is a better character, I'll give some reasons, as they'd be partly right. I haven't given them yet, and it's surprising I need to over a year after the movie's release. But, just to give some examples and cover myself, the character was given a coherent backstory and not a random one where he turned evil just because Goku cried a lot. Then, instead of being a really crazy and evil guy, he was simply a boy who trusted his father and wasn't aware of the magnitude of his abilities. As a warrior, they also explored his emotions. It was shown that he had worries, fears, hopes. Anyway, the point is that I understand better than anyone why the Broly from the 90s makes you feel nostalgic. But give credit where credit is due. I'm one of those who think that nothing is perfect in this life, and that even the most beautiful things in this world end up having their pros and cons alike. Before finishing the video, I'd like to show some fan art from the channel that you've sent me, which are, first we have this one where I appear with Joseph, fulfilling the goal for which I'm still breathing. A work by my great friend Eric, who also posts great anime videos on YouTube. I'll leave the link to his channel in the description box so you can go check it out. Only those who follow me on my secondary channel, Bell's Tales, will get this, since they're the characters from a Hunter x Hunter roleplay campaign I'm running there. Don't forget to stop by and subscribe. The creator's Twitter link is also in the description. Lastly, someone on Twitter dedicated this fan art to me where I'm wearing Joski's clothes. I think the drawing is pretty cool. Feel free to create fan art of me or the channel and share it with me on any social network. If you'd like me to use it in a video or thank you for supporting the channel, thank you all so much. I'll gladly look forward to any nice drawing or edit with excitement. Now, here we go. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel to join the first class Sniffapedos, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Please, pretty please, have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next videos. See you next time.